I was just talking with Bayo Atoyemi, who is already here with us, of course, for the newspaper review. Bayo.
Thank you, Claire. Good morning.
Good morning.
Kingsley. Good morning, Nigeria.
What's amusing you this morning? What's the good thing that has happened to you?
So many things.
Yes.
Uh,
You thinking about it?
I don't know where to
You're
start.
alive and it's Friday.
You are eating away my time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Kingsley, you want to start? You've got daily.
Well, yeah, I have the Nation newspaper. From above the nameplate, we have the following headlines. Why I killed Super TV boss by a 21-year-old undergraduate. Details on page 6. 1 killed, 33 abducted in Kaduna attacks. Raid lasted for 1 hour. President off to London on medical vacation. Tinubu hails Gbajabi Amila and Sowonlu on birthday. And below the nameplate, business mogul Dangote awarded Cameroon's second highest national honor. Twitter suspension, a hard decision to take. And the writer said, Minister, 476 online platforms working against government. I will okay restructuring bill if passed, says Buhari. And President reaffirms position that only National Assembly can reorganize Nigeria. And the second lead story there says Senate to begin final push for PIB passage next week. Senate to begin final push for PIB passage next week. We had heard that they were going to pass it in April, and then they said no, it will be passed in
June.
In June, and June ends on Wednesday next week. Now the headline is saying that they will begin the final push for its passage next week. Lawmakers won't consider frivolous loan requests. That's the other rider to that headline. 286 drug suspects held, hemp farms destroyed in Kano. Cholera kills 7 in FCT. Claire.
Yes. I don't know. I think we listened to the president of the Senate a while ago, and he was talk about the probability of having the PIB bill, passed on Wednesday next week.
No, it's a report on the PIB bill will be laid before both chambers of the National Assembly next week.
Next week?
Yes.
Wednesday.
And then they're still crossing the T's and dotting the I's.
Yes. When the report comes, it means the whole House is now going to consider the report. And that is the shortest step.
When he
towards
wasn't,
the passage of the bill.
when he made that statement, he wasn't, definite. It was based on, he said probable.
Well,
there's a probability that the bill will be passed.
Because the report has been before the committee is being considered, but he was categorical that it will be laid before both chambers. Both chambers.
Yes, that's his latest
Yes.
statement. Before what Kingsley was saying, his statement before now, alluding to the fact that the bill may be passed or might be passed by the end of June. He wasn't definitive. He was just being...
Already, the national economy you are having there is already speculating. If you look at the back,
but
the petrol industry bill is likely to be delayed because there are other impetuses now. There are consideration of raising the percentage for the oil-producing communities to a higher percentage than what was proposed. And so already that national economy is speculating that it could be longer than that.
Yes, 2.5%. Sorry, okay, so let me quickly take the national economy, since Bayo has preempted it. The national economy has on its front page that story that Bayo is talking about. Petroleum industry bills passage may extend beyond 2021. And the rider is, as oil-producing communities raise share demand by 7.5%. Now, the increase Bayo talked about is from 2.5% to 10%. Well, that's according to the national economy. Okay, so away from that, just atop the masthead, dollar rationing pushes Nigeria's wheat buyers to parallel markets. It's right there on your screen. But here's the good news for a lot of civil servants. Just trending at the bottom of the national economy. FAC, federal government, states, LGs share 605 billion naira in June. of course, I know. You know what I say is the good news for civil servants. When
salaries are sure to be forthcoming.
What percentage of the population do you have as civil servants, even as public servants? So some of these figures now, whether they share or they didn't share, people are going to ask you, what does it mean to them?
Like the president will say, how far does it trickle down to the ordinary Nigerian? Anyway, the breakdown actually showed that the federal government was to receive 242.12 billion, 36 states of the federation 194.19 billion, 774 local government 143.72 billion. The derivation for oil-producing states is put at 26.90 billion. President Muhammadu Buhari is to proceed to London today on a scheduled medical follow-up. It may be recalled that in March 30th specifically, he was away for another medical trip. This, as announced by Mr. Femi Adesina, is a follow-up to the earlier on. And the earlier report we were talking about, the Senate President, Ahmed Lawan, has said that federal government initiative to borrow to fund infrastructure is better than belaboring Nigerians with more taxes to fund infrastructure. The Senate President told State House correspondents that federal government cannot increase taxes further because Nigeria is poor and there is need to get money for infrastructure, and therefore government has no other choice than to borrow. He says that the National Assembly, as a legislator, will not be frivolous in granting executive requests for loans. However, such requests will pass through thorough scrutiny to ensure that they are necessary, adding that when permitted to, such loans will be monitored to ensure effective use. Meanwhile, Nigeria's debt profile is now put at 33.11 trillion as at March 31st. And the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning says at the end of first quarter 2021, Nigeria's debt to GDP stood at 29%. Meanwhile, on the ambit of criminality, gunmen broke into a hotel at Tungamaji and for 30 minutes shot into the air and abducted guests, who include a former legislator of Kogi State House of Assembly. Tungamaji is along the Lokoja-Abuja Expressway between Zuba Junction and Giri Junction. Incidentally, Tungamaji and Kuje have been these strong locations where criminality, especially about kidnapping and abduction, has been on the increase. But the good news is that the FCT Police Command is reported have launched a strategic operation to rescue the abductees. And in Ondo State, there's good news. The Ondo State Police Command have arrested 2 robbers. One of them is 27-year-old Kikiowo and his accomplice Tokwe Aladeloe. Kikiowo is notorious, and he says he had been involved in robbery since the age of 7. He started with wood gun and resorted to toy guns and actually graduated to real guns that he seized from security agents. The good news is that they were planning another operation at Akure, and police intelligence got them and swooped on them at Okearo. They are now in police net.
You have just a minute.
Thank you.
Just before you take up, the story on the front page has been trending for several days now.
Yes,
it's that of the Super TV boss, Usifo Ataga, who was murdered in an apartment in Lekki Phase 1. He lives on Banana Island in Lagos. The Lagos State Police Command say that they have now arrested the suspect, who is said to be an undergraduate, 300-level mass communication undergraduate at the University of Lagos. He's 21 years old. It's a very sad story because the gentleman was only a few days away from his 50th birthday, and he was due to travel from Lagos to Abuja to meet with his family for the celebration.
Even more troubling, Kingsley, is the involvement of the victim, a 21-year-old mass communication student.
Well, what is sad about that is that the story there indicates that they were smoking drugs and drinking and got to the extreme extent of rape and murder. Well, that is what you get when you have this kind of impetus.
That is the claim by the suspect. Well, you will have to conduct an autopsy on the dead victim to know whether he had substances in his system. That is the claim by the suspect. To say that, oh, this was what was happening, under account said, well, this is all now tried by the media, as it were. Oh, she had known him for some 4 months. It probably wasn't the first time they were meeting. So why then were you having other kind of disagreement? And by the way, the University of Lagos has not confirmed whether or not she's indeed a bona fide student of the institution, or whether she indeed belongs to that department.
No, a lecturer had actually reported that he's a student, and for about three months now, she's not been to school.
And then she claimed that the ATM card which she used in downloading the account of the victim was to enable her pay her school fees. University of Lagos is already several weeks into the second semester. So, well, I mean, you can see it's unfortunate.
The story is unfortunate, Bayo. We don't want to really go into that. We allowed the police.
The other news, which is very important, is the 1994 promise that has been redeemed by the federal government for the Super Eagles that won the Cup of Nations. Unfortunately, now that the 3-bedroom flat is available, unfortunately, we have lost about 6 of them now. Keshi is one of those that have died. Among those that are dead are Thompson Ole, Uche Okafo, Wilfred Agbonivare. They cannot benefit. The other good news is that after 25 years, Chioma Ajunwa has been awarded a 3-bedroom flat. Governor Sanwo-Olu fulfilled a promise made by Lagos State Administrator Olagunsoye Oyinlola and awarded her a flat at Ikori.
It's better late than never.
Yes.
It's better late than never.
Why would it be, I haven't read that story.
Yes.
Why would it be that the members of the Super Eagles squad that won the Cup of Nations in 1994 but are now deceased cannot benefit from the houses that were promised?
They have families.
I think their next of kin ought to benefit. I'm just thinking aloud.
The property goes to the estate of the deceased.
Yes.
They played that match, or they played in the tournament, and they won. And the promise of pledge was to them while they were alive, and to those who were victorious.
I think what Bayo meant was that they are not alive
unfortunately,
to... Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah, but it goes to their estate.
It goes to their estate. Again, just like you have talked about sports, I also want to quickly round off with this one, with Felix Allison. I'm sure we all know the athlete. She, of course, represented the U.S. in several Olympic events. She runs, I think, the quarter mile,
400 meters.
200 meters, 400 meters. Yeah. So she had issues with her, Nike, and I think she has now, 2 years after, she has now come out with her own brand. So it tells you that you put your mind to a thing, it's doable. Yes.
Yeah, Bayo, thanks a lot for being around. But we must answer the question, why would it take 25 years, a quarter century, to build a 3-bedroom flat and deliver to persons who you consider as national heroes?
27 years.
Yeah, that's not 25 years in the case of Chioma Ajunwa.
Yes,
she won the first individual Olympic gold medal for the country at the Atlanta Games.
All right, gentlemen, thank you. Kingsley and Bayo, thank you.
Thank you.
We welcome.
You're not thanking both me. Both of us should thank Bayo.
Okay.
Don't reduce the gratitude to me.
Have a good weekend.
All right, Bayo, take care of yourself.
Right, you're watching Good Morning Nigeria. It's happening live here in our studios in Abuja, and of course the network service. We'll be right back.